So this prompt threw me a bit. Initially I was like, knitwear, right? I can do knitwear. I couldn't get all the colours to harmonise in a way that I thought was nice, and the textures just weren't working. And I really didn't feel I was getting across Warlock from any of this. Also, the reference to Necromancers was throwing me a little. So I went back to the drawing board and had a bit of a think about how I would convey a Warlock with then some yarny overtones as opposed to starting from the yarn end. After all, I always feel like Warlocks are the bad boys of the D&D party makeup, which is how I ended up with this. I kept the jumper I picked out because it has a really cool chain and spikes detail on it. Chucked that on top of the shirt and trousers I was already wearing, added a pair of knee-high boots, a little bit of gold to accentuate the face. I use Illamasqua's liquid metal, which I've had for literally a decade and I'm still going through the one pot. It's the goldest gold I've ever found and I use it all the time. The crochet hook holster and scholar's gown are possibly things that you might not have in your wardrobe. So today we have 2 little mini tutorials. Can confirm, writing backwards on your own face, really difficult. Get someone else to write on your face for you. Firstly, the holster, which to be honest was really simple. I made some holes in a little piece of foam until I had a slot that the crochet hooks would easily fit through. And then I basically just made as many of those as there were crochet hooks. Once that was all done, I folded it in half, hot glued it down, added a little bit of detailing, just again with hot glue, and painted the whole thing gold. If I'd intended this as a longer lasting piece of kit or something that I intended to use literally ever again, I probably should have base coated or primed this or something. I didn't bother. It was fine. Fundamentally, it just gave me a nice accessory which I could add on to my belt, which really sold the magical yarn wizard aesthetic. And then the scholar's gown. If you wanted to make a more serious and historically accurate scholar's gown, this is the book that I would recommend. It has a lot of patterns and cutting diagrams in it. However, we're instead going to do a quick and dirty hack version that I came up with some years ago. First of all, you're going to need the measurement across your back, and the easiest way to get this is to find a shirt that fits you quite well and measure arm to arm. Then you want to take half that measurement down from the folded edge of the fabric. This piece of fabric is about 100 by 56 inches, at least that's what the tag on it says, just folded in half, so it's as square-like as possible. Then parallel to the fold, you're going to measure down about how deep you think your arm needs to be, and then a little bit more because trust me, you've underestimated this. And then if you're me, you're going to spend quite a long time trying to eyeball how much space you're going to need for your arm. Go smaller to start off with, try it on a few times. It's always going to be possible to take more off. And again, you can use the shirt that you've got as reference. You're going to have kind of a teardrop shape which you want to cut out. And at that point, you can open it up and, to start off with, pin the sides together. This is where it gets a bit weird. I'll show this more clearly in a second, but you're basically going to attach the cut side of the lower edge of the fabric to the selve edge of the back piece. Give it a quick bit of a try on. If you decide, like I did, that those holes are not big enough, you can just make them a little bit bigger. I was pretty happy with my second go. You can do as much finishing and polishing on this as you want, but fundamentally the only other thing you need to do to make it wearable is to round off that square bottom edge. Please excuse the angle, but this I just wanted to include so you can watch me freehand a circle skirt style curve by eye. Sometimes I wonder why any of you trust me to try and teach you anything. Let me explain those shoulder seams one more time. This is the piece of fabric unfolded with the back piece of the gown flat on the ground. As you can see, I'm bringing the sides over, cut edge to selve edge, and the selve edge of the front going straight down the front of your body. And that's the same on both sides. All you have to do is sew those 2 tiny seams, and especially if you've made it out of a fabric that doesn't fray and it's just for a costume, you're ready to go. I hope you've enjoyed today's costume, and I will see you tomorrow.